Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Ambarina again. I wanted to share with you an essay I did a while back about morality. I know a friend of mine had posted one questioning it, and I thought, sure, why not? My discussion had been atheism. Is it really a moral cop-out? And I said, no, by far, it's the ultimate in taking responsibility for your life. It's an understanding that you are responsible for your actions and the consequences thereof, good or bad. It is an acceptance that there are things in life you cannot control, and you're either going to move on from them or they're going to rule your life. It's understanding that you are the architect of your life, not a supreme being who will reward you or punish you when you die. What a buzzkill. Still, many theists, they try to say that if you're an atheist, you're immoral. And you wonder why. And their simple logic is, well, we're taught that if it weren't for God, there wouldn't be morality. Therefore, if there isn't God in your life, you're immoral. Which is a really quacky attitude. Especially if you look at the statistics of prison crime rates, science. Honestly, that old cliche, if you got rid of all the atheists, 94% of the National Science Council would be gone, and only 1% of the prison population would be gone. I mean, it holds water on a lot of levels when they talk about that. So I think what disturbs me the most about the whole morality question is simply stating that if it weren't for God, we wouldn't know right from wrong. Innately, humanity is compassionate for its own kind, just like other mammals for that matter. Theists really are stretching themselves thin on this one again, simply because it calls into argument that their opinion is strictly based on their belief in God, and again, there isn't any proof. Why do we as atheists have to simply believe what is said by hundreds of different authors over the course of at least 300 centuries of writing, rewriting, omittance, recantations, and everything else to try and prove this divine being exists? I believe, honestly, it's in our nature to be compassionate. That's typical of any animal, and we are an animal, whether people like it or not. We're an animal. We eat meat, we eat plants, we fuck, we sleep, we hunt. The males fight for dominance. I'm sorry, we're animals, mammals in particular, but you get my drift. And as a whole, I think that we have evolved on our social skills. We've learned, hey, we don't want to kill that guy. He can hunt deer. He's an asshole, but we'll put up with him. And it just evolved further from there. And we started finding benefits from one another in other countries. And we have always had the greater good in our minds, even for the greater good of the future. And that's why we are so compassionate with our young, to make sure that they learn from us. It's common sense. Now, there are those who say, well, God made man and he encoded this into our genetic DNA because this is coded into us. So, of course, like, well, God made man, he made the DNA that did that, so he made us have morals and compassion. I still don't agree with that because you haven't proven God exists anyway. So with that said, I think basing a whole religion on faith, it just seems kind of shady. I might as well go and buy that gasoline and then take a gallon of it and just drink it to cure cancer on faith. Should I do that? No. Why? Because we know gasoline is harmful through proven scientific evidence. It's a no-brainer. So why that does not apply to God, I still don't understand. If God were to send another prophet to earth and say there are new commandments, including one that says it's okay to steal another's wife, murder your neighbors, and totally disrespect your parents, would you do it? Would you say, wait a minute, where's your proof that God said this? More than likely, I think that's what people would do. A lot of the Bible's testimony, though, are from private encounters with the Lord. No proof necessary because they wrote it in with a collection of other private encounters. I'm sorry, people, you got to get off the crack pipe. I find that living in the now and accepting that where I am in life is because of choices I've made is a true way to be divine. God is you. God's your conscience. He's telling you, jackass, what did you do that for? Now you have to fix this relationship. Or, man, that felt good. I think we should work here at the soup kitchen next Christmas. Why do you need to have a supreme being give you rewards or punishments when it's obvious you deal with it here on earth every day? And secondly, I'll be the first to admit, I've been abused by a Christian, and because he had the Lord's forgiveness, he doesn't need mine. That sounds rather immoral to me. I have hurt two very important people close to me, and for the last 7 years, I've been busting my ass to try and make it right, okay? This is not rocket science. It's not because God's going to punish me later that I want to fix these relationships, okay? It's because innately, my compassionate, empathetic, familial self says, I don't want to be lonely. I want my family. I want to have good relationships. It's a no-brainer. You can't survive without these things on this planet. Ultimately, I got to say is, fuck God. I mean, he isn't my family that I have to spend my lifetime with. He isn't my peers next door seeing and judging what I do in the here and now. And please spare me the whole we don't judge because we're Christian argument. History has very well shown the opposite of that. Ultimately, religion is the cop-out. You pray for forgiveness. You kind of sort of make things right with the people you fuck over. But as long as you're forgiven by God, it doesn't matter anyway. It would seem that the whole atheism is a cop-out argument is simply a projected denial on the part of the theists. As usual, faced with hard truths, theists try to find a way to avoid the reality of consequences, relationships, and death, or basically, well, life. Until next time, enjoy my little fire.